want to welcome everybody to another edition of Inside the Cardinal Playbook, and it's always my pleasure to be here with Coach Kruse. And we're going to talk a little bit about homecoming this past week and the homecoming football game. And Coach, I really felt like you look statistically at what went on in that ball game, it was even up.
Yeah.
And we talk about you got to close the deal. Why don't you talk a little bit about closing the deal? You were what you call it the green zone.
Yeah.
At least five times.
Yeah,
we didn't get any points on the board.
Yeah, we're inside the 30 yard line for 5 different times in that game and didn't finish. Didn't finish on some plays, and we made some plays to get there, and so we've got guys that know how to make plays. But as I talked to them in the locker room, and you've got to be the guy who wants to make a play in those situations, and we just got to learn how to finish. And it wasn't just offensively. Defensively, we gave up too many big plays too later in the game, and special teams we played pretty well there again, but we had a field goal, a couple bad snaps on a field goal and one blocked, and again that goes back to making a play.
Right.
When plays are there to be made, you got to make a play, and that's how you start to learn to win, and that's the road we need to get down now. We played that same team last year, and they got all over us, statistically, score-wise, and every other way. I didn't see that on Saturday. I saw us, battle our tail ends off, and it's 0-0 after the first quarter and going into the second quarter a ways. And, they get some late scores in the second because we shoot ourselves in the foot on some field goals and didn't punch the ball in the red zone a couple different times and then gave up a big play on defense. And, right now, from a growth standpoint, we've got to be able to overcome those things and put points on the board and keep guys out of the end zone and take the points when we have them. And that's a growth thing that we're still continuing to struggle with.
Well, I totally agree with you, and we talked a little bit before the show started. I was there last year when you guys played them down there, and now, and I've seen both games, and I've seen a lot of football in my life. Mm-hmm. We're vastly improved. We're not here about just moral victories, however. Yeah, right. We are looking for improvement. I guess my point is, and I want you to talk about it, you're trying to set some building blocks for where you want to go. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not even this season, but where you want the program to go down the road.
Right.
Why don't you talk to the people about that? Because we're in a society, and I'm going to get a little preachy here on the show, where everything's instant gratification. Yep. Doesn't work that way when you're building a football team.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, as much as we'd all like it to be that way, reality, and I've got to remind myself of this as much as anybody, just because, as a coach and as a competitor, you expect to win every game. And, I've got to continually tell myself that, remember where it was at. It was 1-9 in the NAIA just 2 seasons ago.
Right.
And remember where you came last year, and remember how far the players have come, and continue to remember that as you step up from playing in NAIA competition from last year to stepping up and playing top 25 Division II schools this year. Remember that they're supposed to be better than you right now. Now, like you said, no moral victories, and we can go back and point to a lot of things that we could do better to win some of those games. Reality is we didn't. And so how do we grow going forward, and what do we do with our team going forward to teach them how to and to show them how to learn to win in crucial situations? And when we, you look at the stats from, like you said, look at the stats from Saturday. They outgained us by 15 yards total. I mean, in the
same
game.
amount of first downs.
Everything.
I went through the whole thing.
And really, we won on some statistical categories, offensively and defensively, and in special teams. I think we probably maybe win that game. We didn't turn the ball over, and so many growth things there. But at the end of the day, the scoreboard doesn't show it, and that's what we're measured on in this profession as athletes and in general. And we've got to get over that hump. We've got to get over it, and then once we get over it, I think you'll see some really, really exciting things as our players understand how to win, but it's a process.
It's definitely a process. And along the same lines, we started off talking a little bit about offense, but let's talk about defense. We've seen a varying amount of sets, formations like what you do. Mm-hmm. But Division II, I thought that this time we knew we were going to look at the spread, a hurry-up type thing. I thought it was very interesting. They spread you and hurry up, but they really kind of ran the ball.
Yep.
And I know you play probably with a lot of more nickel and dime packages than you would probably do normally against Southwest Baptist. I thought it was just an interesting scenario where a lot of teams now are spreading everybody, particularly Division II, because I'm with you every Saturday, particularly Division II, and they're doing a lot of things, running the ball, even though they're spread. You might want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, here's what our approach was going into it. Anytime you play a spread team, a 10 personnel, 1 back, 4 wide receivers, or no tight ends, they're going to there are more athletes out there.
Right.
So you try, as a defensive philosophy, try and match athleticism with athleticism. So you've seen us some more here this year because we've got some more guys in the secondary that we can do this with. You've seen us match those personnel groups a little bit more with a dime package or a nickel package and those type of things. And we're already set up to defend that a little bit out of the 3-4, but we've even gone further because of some young guys that we have playing very well. This year. We've gone further with that, and it's been good for us. And really, look at the first quarter, look at the beginning of the second quarter, look at the third quarter. We defended the heck out of the run.
Yes, we did.
for really 2.5 quarters, and then we get the field goals blocked and some of those other things, and they've got momentum. And now, once they got momentum, and I thought we really did a good job of handling their pace of play. They got momentum after a couple of those blocks, and then they really started to go, and they even kicked the momentum up even more from a pace of play standpoint. And we got on our heels a little bit in the run game and didn't defend it as well. Our inside backers, a lot of us got a little bit tired there, and they make it hard to sub. Anytime you can push the pace that fast, you can't substitute defensively because you can't get in a situation where we don't have enough on because you can't get them in and out in time. And so we got caught in that a few times and gave up some big plays in the run game, which we shouldn't normally do. But that's part of playing a good offense like that. That offense was 9-2 last year, and they're 5-1 right now. So they're doing some really good things with some really good players. But I felt like we, at times, defended them tremendously. One of our goals going into the game, and it was to keep that quarterback in the pocket because their big plays, as he
was a good runner.
Prior, we're all when he broke contain, he got out of the pocket, and he made plays with his feet, and then down the field in the passing game. I thought we did a great job of keeping him in the pocket and making him pull the ball down. Making him throw it out of bounds a couple of times, got a couple sacks, and I think they were frustrated early. But you've got to be able to play 4 quarters, and defensively we didn't do that either on Friday, and that we're still growing there as well, and we've got some work to do.
But I think overall, let's talk about the secondary. You talk about we ran more nickel and dime. This is why I brought it up. I thought in a lot of situations when they did throw the ball that we had great coverage.
Yeah.
We were able to stay. Last year they would get separation quickly off of us. Mm-hmm. Okay, they did not do that this year.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with you in some of that stuff you're seeing in our dime package where we've got 4 corners in the game and 2 safeties. So we've got 6 DBs, and we've got our corners are playing well right now. All of them. We've got, about 4 to 6 of them that we've been rotating in and that are getting a lot of reps, and, 4 of those or 3 of those are true freshmen. So to see those guys come in and give the kind of production that they've had, is very exciting, obviously, for the future, but even for now, the present, they're giving us the ability to do some extra things out of some different packages, and that's been exciting.
Well, let's flip back to the offense, and the reason why I want to do that is because, we talked about all week, and I talked about in the pregame show on Saturday that we had concerns at the offensive line. I thought the offensive line did a very good job. I really thought they
with having 2 to 3 guys out up front, for them to go in against a very good defense and play the way they did, it was impressive. Jason Massey steps in there and was very good, very good. He was the fill-in at the left guard position after Perez had gotten hurt and Kitchens had gotten hurt, and he played a tremendous game. And then he got hurt late in the game there, a knee. We're still trying to figure out exactly what it is, and we're hoping we maybe get him back here after the bye week. Time will tell on that, but those guys continue to get better. And Mark Wable, I don't give enough credit to. He's done a great job building that group.
He's a good boy. I like him.
You know how the offensive line is.
Got to be that gears.
That doesn't happen overnight. You've got to build that group. There's a lot of technique, probably more technique involved in that position group than any other position on the field.
Absolutely.
And because of how precise that they have to work together and with each other, and with losing a couple guys on that front over the last couple weeks, for us to come out and play as well as we did up front, it was very exciting.
Now we'll move to specialty teams, and I talked to Sean at the golf tournament, and I really complimented him on the year he's had. But I talked to the Blue Springs kids last night. They played Blue Springs South this week, so it's tradition for me to go and do the old coach thing on Sundays. But you have to win. If you're not the favorite, you have to win. And we've had this discussion many times. The third part, which is specialty teams.
Right.
I think that you have really held your own there, but it's very interesting to watch you guys, and I think it's that confidence factor. It seems like in specialty teams a couple of weeks ago was catching the punt. Okay, we had snaps. You can talk about that however you want to, but one of them was a bad snap. Right. And once we don't convert in those small areas, our kids get to wondering again, okay, we're playing well, but here we go.
Yeah.
And not a cut on them. You've already touched upon it earlier, talking about the offense. But it seems like it revolves a lot around, especially teams, on just a couple things, really weird things sometimes. Yeah. Like the bounce. Remember the one ball game we got the bad bounce. Yeah. I mean, what do you say?
It was, I can't remember what game, Urbana maybe.
It was here.
But, it was. Yeah.
I can't remember either.
Exactly. What do you say? And we actually just got done with meetings not too long ago, watching all of that stuff. Sitting through the special team meeting with our whole team and watching all of those things. And the comment I made to our field goal unit was, statistics tell us that if we give him the opportunity to get the ball down and kick it, it's going to go through the uprights. We're 18 for 18 since he's been here. It's going to go through the uprights. So we've got to make sure that we are all doing our part in understanding what our part is in making that happen. And they were both. The first snap was low. Second snap's high and right, but our operation time is actually okay.
Pretty good.
And we gave up some things on the edge in protection, and those things. This is such a momentum game, and you know that, and
that's my
people
point.
that watch it know that, and the momentum in this game, when those things don't happen, it helps switch momentum the other way. Their first two scores came off those two field goals that we missed. It's momentum the other way, and now they feel good because they've got, they've kept some points off the board, and then offensively they come in and they push the pace a little bit more.
Point. Yeah, you got it.
But the other things I look at, the good things, offensively, really the last 3 weeks, and this week more than even the last two, we have gone in and we have gone boom, 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 right down the field on 8, 9, 10 play drives
on everybody.
On everybody, Pittsburgh State, Sioux Falls,
South Baptist. I agree.
We've done those things, which that's a product of growth in itself. Now we've just got to learn to finish when we get there. We're getting there now, which is a long ways from where we were, but we're getting there now against really good teams, and now we've got to learn to finish when we get in the red zone. And so there's always positives about everything, and I'm seeing a bunch of that with our team right now. And as much as you know a lot about this game, and as a coach, you want to just give it to them. You want to just say, oh, you hurt for them, but you can. It's something you learn, and that you got to figure out as a player and as a team that hey, we're here, all right. It took a while to get here, but we're here now. Now let's go do it. Let's just go play now. People have told us so long for a long time now that you can't go compete against Pittsburgh. You can't go compete against Sioux Falls. You can't compete against Southwest Baptist.
But we have.
If you go watch the games, we are. We're competing in a lot of different phases of that, but we're not finishing. Because, and a little bit of it, I think, is because we still don't believe yet because so many people tell us we can't. We're having a hard time believing, even though all these things are saying we can, we're having a hard time getting to finish because, hey, maybe we aren't there yet. Well, if people are watching, if you're watching the games and not just the box scores, you're seeing a lot of really good things. Now, are we good enough to beat Pittsburgh State and some of those other schools yet? Probably not. On paper, we're not near what they are yet. But we're definitely heading in the right direction, and as soon as we start to believe more in ourselves and what we're doing and the success we're having, I think you may see a landslide the other way and some really good things start to happen.
I wanted you to say your piece because, you know, I'm out there in the community and I listen. And quite frankly, you know, a lot of people don't really do not understand what it takes to build a football program. And I think it's our job not to be negative or snap back or any of those things. I don't. I think our job, particularly yours, is explain, here's my plan, here's what we're trying to do, and this is how we're going to go about it. And I think you did that very well just now. And I think you have every right to explain your position for your program the way you want to go. And I do, honestly, sitting here, I totally agree with everything you say, and I really do compare. I do have a measuring stick now. Southwest Baptist was my measuring stick from last year to this year, and there was just, and that's what I want any kid that might be listening to this or ever watch it in the next 2 weeks. I really believe that you have come a great distance. But you got to learn how to close the deal.
That's exactly right.
And that's not, it's easier said than done. And somebody's got to stand up and says, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm closing the deal. Whether the rest of you are coming with me or not, I'm closing.
You're exactly. And as you know, the perfect scenario is your whole team does that at the same time, and they all believe that, hey, you know what? We've been here before. Something negative just happened. But you know what? I'm going to go make a play. And if you get, you know, 50 guys, you know, the guys that are 50, 60 guys, the guys that are in there contributing, doing that, you know, even your whole team really in practice, it all filters through, then that's when really good things start to happen.
And it will. I firmly believe it will. Now let's talk about, on a positive note, homecoming. It was a great experience. I'm glad I came up, got to play in the golf tournament, met a lot of people that I had met. I know man, the crowd, let me just say, well, you know, I usually come about an hour and 15 minutes ahead of time. I always park on there. Couldn't get in the parking lot. I had to park down by you guys down by the Mabee Center. I was loving it. I was pumped. The crowd was there. The kids, I'm talking about the college kids, they were dancing and having a great college atmosphere. That's also what we need to do in order to change the attitude of the program. And you need support from those people on a consistent basis to change this tide.
Well, I thought that was tremendous. And here's the reason why. I mean, the atmosphere was great, but they came out and supported, at the time, you know, a 1-3, 1-4 football team. You know, that was that kind of atmosphere with our record being where it is. I thought that was extremely impressive, and they stayed for the whole game.
Oh, it was fun.
The score was, from just a simply score standpoint, they could have left at the beginning of the fourth quarter because it was probably in hand at that point for South, at least midway through the fourth quarter, probably in hand for them at that time. But, you know, and I hope, maybe this is just my wishful thinking, I hope people are coming and people are staying because they're seeing the growth things, and they're seeing us competing till the end of the game and playing hard, and that our players are out there giving very, very good effort. And I hope in some stretch we're fun to watch, because I really think we are. Now, is that equating to scores and you know, wins right now? No, but it will. There's no doubt in my mind it will, and it may be sooner than later. You know, we got a bye week here, and we've got to work through that, and then we go on the road for a couple weeks. But, you know, I can't thank those folks enough. You know, the students and the alumni that were there, and just the general fans. I mean, it was loud and it was enthusiastic. I will tell you this, that is by far the best game environment we have had here since I've been here.
Well, I've done it
probably
for 5
in a while.
years. I've done it for 5, and I was pumped. I came around the corner, and I would happen to be on the phone. I told somebody, this looks like homecoming at the University of Missouri. I mean, they were everywhere.
It was cool, and you know, a lot of credit needs to go to you know, Dr. Bailey and Joel Lucan and our athletic department staff, and because, you know, and advancement in Dr. Salih, because of the environment that he's wanted to have here. There's a lot of work that goes into putting, you know, all that stuff that was going on in the parking lot, the tailgate with Jack Stack Barbecue and all the blow up, you know, things for the kids. And, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into putting that on. And then just, you know, game day operations. We don't talk about those folks enough. And it was really, really good on Saturday. As good as it's ever been here since I've been here. And, you know, it was fun because those guys that played here, the 82 championship team that played for the national championship, went into the Hall of Fame Saturday night. And, you know, while it's probably not quite the atmosphere they had when they were here, because they were selling it out a whole, you know, in 4 years they didn't lose a home game. So when you win that much, you're naturally going to draw
twice during that era, and they were all the way around the stadium.
You know, and that's what we strive for, environments like that. And it's probably closer to that environment than what it's been in a long time, and it was great to have those guys back and let them experience that again and have that feel. And the Hall of Fame stuff was tremendous, and all the inductees, not just the '82 team, but standing there listening to the guys on the '82 team talk about their team and the camaraderie and why they felt they won and the connections that they still had, and about not letting the guy down next to them, and that was more important than any personal accolades and all of that stuff. Still 30 years later, seeing them being able to recall, individual plays and individual games.
Well, you never forget.
That's a special group and a special time period there, and through the late '70s and early '80s, and that wasn't the only time period like that here. It's been great football here throughout the years, and we've been on a little bit of a lull here lately, and we've got to get back to that.
Well, we're talking about the future, and let's talk about, we've got another bye week. We're going to talk a little bit about that and then get into Raleigh here a little bit later. But talk about your plans. I know we know how much you're nicked up.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk a little bit about this bye week we have?
Yeah, bye weeks are always nice for the fact that you'd love to play every weekend. But honestly, right now we need this more than anything because of how beat up we are, in a lot of positions. You go to this level and it's more physical. It is, and it's faster, and you're going to have potentially more injuries and those type of things, and we have our share of those, and we need to get those guys healed up. And this gives us an opportunity to take a step at least in that direction, and hopefully get most of them back by next Saturday. We're going to take the opportunity to get back to some fundamental things as you always do on these type of weeks. And Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday practices will be very, very heavy on individual time and fundamentals, and then getting against each other again and making sure we're clean in our operations, and working more poignantly on the things that we've had struggled with, red zone scoring, in defensively defending teams in the red zone, and some things that we can really take down and break down and take the time to spend doing that stuff this week. We're going to do that, and and maybe late in the week or early next week for sure, obviously get into Missouri S&T and try and get them figured out. They're having a good year. They're 3-3, and they're growing too. It's a new head coaching staff. They're the same kind of the same timeline we are. The difference between us and them is they've been at that level for a whole lot longer and maybe have recruited that type of player for longer and all of those things. But that's kind of our schedule, how it lays out. We'll give them a little bit of time late in the weekend to get a little time off and maybe get away for a day or two and air it out a little bit as we all need to do from time to time, and so they're really refreshed coming back for the last 4-game stretch to finish the season.
Well, listen, let's talk about Missouri S&T. We talk about academics, which is the number one reason why we're here.
Right.
I think all of us do believe in that.
Yeah.
And we got 2 institutions academically. They're very good. And we're doing comparisons of programs, very similar in that respect. But I know they beat Lindenwood, which is a big win for them. And then Lindenwood's going to be in the MIAA next year, and they're going to be a Division II team. Let's talk about Raleigh a little bit. And what do you think offensively, defensively? Just talk a little football about them.
I haven't got a chance to watch them a whole lot, but what I do know about them from what I have seen, obviously they've come a long way, in the last couple of years. We used to play them a lot when I was at Emporia State, and they were in the MIAA for a long time. And, had their up and down years there, and so they were down for a little while, and, their new coach and their new coaching staff is very good. He came from the University of Ohio. He was with Coach Solich there for a long time, and has done a great job in just a couple years changing kind of the look of that team from an athleticism standpoint and some of the things they do offensively and defensively. They're a pretty good football team. Offensively, they're going to spread you out. It's similar to us. They're going to spread you out and shift and motion you and try and take advantage of you on, you getting misaligned on some things. And with some of the athletes they got on the edge, they can do some things to you. Quarterback appears to be very capable. And it looks like they kind of have sunk or swim with kind of how he's gone throughout the game. And defensively too, anytime you recruit good athletes, you're going to get better defensively. And special teams, they're solid there as well. So they'll be another challenge for us, and we'll go down there and play them down there on grass, which will be our first grass game of the season. We'll actually have 2 in a row. We play there, and then the next week we go on the road again and play on the grass. And so that'll be a little bit of a change. So we'll spend a little bit more time on the grass next week, and maybe a little bit towards the end of this week, just making sure we understand that, at the end of the day, it's still football.
Right.
But, it's a little bit different place to play there.
It is different. If there's rain, it's a
yeah,
huge difference.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things that factor into it. But we're excited about getting into and getting a chance to play against another team that'll be in our new conference. They're a Great Lakes Valley team, and so that'll be fun to kind of see where we're at and stacking up with the new conference schools as well.
Well, I know it's a 1 o'clock start, and again, we're going to see what compare ourselves to people in our conference, like you said, which I think will be very good. I just hope the Jewel fans will continue to come out and support these guys. They've worked extremely hard. We are growing. We are getting better. I just want you to know that, and then I'm looking forward. Actually, I'm looking forward to our next ball game. We all can need a little breath, and I think that's good. We need to heal some wounds and kind of move on. But hopefully, everybody will stay with us. I think the last 4 games of the year, we've got a real shot. We're going to stay positive, keep trying to build that building up to where we want it. So
that's exactly right.
That's what we're all about. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Inside the Cardinal Playbook. And again, we'll see you in a couple weeks, 1 o'clock down at Rolla, and going to get another victory down there.